Flooding may result from the volume of water within a body of water, such as a river or lake, which overflows or breaks banks, with the result that some of the water escapes its usual boundaries, or may be due to accumulation of rainwater on saturated ground in an aerial flood. While the size of a lake or other body of water will vary with seasonal changes in precipitation and snowmelt, it is unlikely to be considered significant unless it floods property or drowns domestic animals. Floods can also occur in rivers when the flow rate exceeds the capacity of the river channel, particularly at bends or meanders in the waterway. Floods often cause damage to homes and businesses if they are in the natural floodplains of rivers. Recent floods in Pakistan killed nearly 1,739 people and caused $3.2 trillion of damage and $3.3 trillion of economic losses. The immediate causes of the floods were heavier than usual monsoon rains and melting glaciers that followed a severe heat wave, both of which are linked to climate change. The flooding was the world's deadliest since the 2020 South Asian floods and described as the worst in the country's history. Looking at these stats, we see that there have been about 1,739 deaths, 12,867 non-fatal injuries, property damage worth $3.2 trillion, which is $14.9 billion, and an economic loss of 3.3 trillion rupees, which is $15.2 billion. So, this here is basically the flood cycle. It shows the three main stages that is before flood, in which preparations for prevention and mitigation are done, and it also involves readiness measures for the disaster. Next is the during impact, in which during the flood the emergency response approach is used to cope with it. Last is the after impact, in which after the flood damage and devastation the recovery and rehabilitation work is started. Co-PPGIS can be effectively used for all of these stages, but taking the current flood situation of the country into consideration, we will only focus on recovery and rehabilitation here. So, Co-PPGIS is basically a system or tool that can be accessed through any standard browser. It is a web map service that stores GIS and meeting data and provides map sharing and annotation service, audio or video chat service, and user or meeting management service. Co-PPGIS basically stands for Collaborative Public Participation Geographic Information System. Through this platform, GeoMeetings can seamlessly be conducted using one of the system's main features of real-time map sharing. Through GeoMeetings you can discuss and share geographic information such as maps, images, or local domain knowledge in real time. So, it's basically a multi-collaborative decision-making tool. Post-flood situation demands construction of healthcare centers carrying first aid, shelter, and roads, etc. The monitoring of such facilities can be done easily by placing incident point information about each on the base layer. Real-time data may also be received in terms of the status of each point. GeoMeeting has the sound capability to cope with emergency situations. Disaster and Emergency Monitoring Authority can provide the flood extent layer on a daily or weekly basis, which will be overlaid on the GeoMeeting map console. Decision makers can use geometry shapes such as point, line, and polygon that provide some useful information to meeting attendees. For instance, point for relief areas, line for roads, polygon for reconstruction sites, demarcation, and annotation for labeling features. This following video shows how places can be marked with geometrical shapes. Next most useful feature is incident-based chatting. In Co-PPGIS we have Feature Chat and IrisPad. The features of both of these include area-specific chatting, that is, you can select any area marked on the base map by geometrical shapes and start a chat related to it, and this will be visible to all the connected users. The discussions remain stored in their respective shapes and can be accessed whenever you are connected to the system. Moreover, entire documents such as developmental plans, procedures and guidelines etc. can also be shared easily. For effective recovery and rehabilitation, data from the field may be collected through an Android medium which will be visible to all the clients connected via GeoMeeting. The affected areas may be marked by shape tools, and location may be marked by place marks. The comments will be visible to all attendees who are sharing a common view of the map. Additional information may also be shared through real-time messaging. Since each attendee can share his or her ideas and add comments and multimedia to share rich information against each incident marker, the meeting sessions become purposeful. The following videos provide a demo of both Feature Chat and IrisPad. Next up is project monitoring. An Android component has been incorporated within the system. A person can add data and share it in the GeoMeeting database by taking pictures and describing incidents, which can be viewed by all respective users. This will allow data to be updated regularly in real time, showing every step of the reconstruction process by sharing pictures, videos, and audios. Updates can also be provided via audio or video teleconferences. For example, in connection to flood recovery and rehabilitation, if someone wants to inspect or view a particular rehabilitation site in order to see the work progress, he or she just needs to use the GeoMeeting viewing component. All actions performed are stored in the database for future use and retrievable on a 24/7 basis. Typically, a geo-collaboration session remains open in an operations center to allow it to follow events or general situations, for example, the current locations and progress of recovery and rehabilitation in the specific area. Monitoring utilities provision and projects is made easy by Co-PPGIS. You can use SMS-based survey, Android-based survey or SMS-based field survey for this purpose. An Android-based survey is done by conducting in-person visits and by taking information from each area. Information can be gathered regarding the utilities provision, whether they are being provided or not, and which areas are still lacking. Information regarding the reconstruction of roads and shelters can also be gathered, like the on-ground person can share pictures and videos of the sites and update all attendees regarding the status of construction. After collecting specified information, this data is sent to the GeoMeeting database, where with the help of this database the relevant measures are taken for the work to move on efficiently. An SMS-based survey is done in a similar manner, whereby information is collected on site and then sent via an SMS to a specified number from a mobile phone with the area name. The data is then added in the database automatically and can be analyzed or represented in GeoMeeting with graphs, etc. The SMS-based field survey data also has the same fields as the Android database table. Field survey data is sent manually with a GPS-based location that is attached with additional information represented using the thematic map. So this is how Co-PPGIS can effectively be used for flood recovery and rehabilitation.